Hi guys, I'm happy you could make it. I have three people waiting for you guys backstage together. Um, one of you, one of the guys you already know, his name is John Gomez. He actually already joined a few of our live streams and he will be interviewing alongside me today. John Gomez, he actually already joined a few of our live streams and then we have two musicians waiting backstage, Sydney based, both of them, working in music shops and making music together from time to time. And yeah, so happy to have you guys and really, really happy to be able to interview you today, actually.
Thanks for
So
having
warm
us.
welcome.
Yeah, good to be here.
To all of you.
Nice to see you again, Slani.
Yeah, nice to see you as well, John. And John has interviewed a lot of musicians already. So how would you start an interview like this when you were interviewing?
Well, I have a cultural platform here in Colombia.
Yeah.
Because I'm from Colombia, I'm from Latin America, and this platform called Alterbox Media is like a space for musicians and artists and writers. And I always like to know about the beginning, what inspires you to make music, and how do you describe your musical career and your musical, specifically your musical format, the way that you make music.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want to know.
Okay. Who wants to go first?
That's up to you.
I go. I'll go. I can go. Yeah, I don't know. I started making stuff really as an outlet. I think for just emotion and stuff that otherwise I would have kept within myself, and it probably wouldn't have would have affected my mental health really. So it's a lot easier to get stuff out in the open and express yourself in a way that otherwise you wouldn't be able to. I feel like it allows you to access parts of yourself that otherwise you wouldn't be able to access. So that's basically why I started doing it. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've got the same thing as that, but I find I also have just about every reason that anyone has for making music. I somewhat try and incorporate that into what I create. My main interest is just kind of exploring and challenging sound and what you can do with sound. Yeah, basically.
And how would you guys describe your music? If you had to describe it in 3 words, how would you describe your music to our audience?
Okay. Well, mine is quiet, slow, and long.
Okay.
Yeah. It's ambient music. So
ambient music.
All my songs are over an hour and very quiet, very slow, hard to keep attentive to. But yeah.
What kind of genre would you put it in? Alternative or?
Well, I don't really think ambient is a genre on Spotify, at least.
Yeah, ambient.
But ambient, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a really hard question. I would say, I don't know, sort of raw. I don't know, like folky, I guess. And quite minimalistic.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Interesting. Okay. I listened to both of your works, actually. The links that you guys sent me. Towards the interview, we can also play it here on the stream, but let's continue a little bit. We're also very interested about the techniques, how you record your things, or how you proceed, like how you actually do the making of your works.
I'll go because mine's probably a shorter answer. I record fairly simply. It's often just a guitar either recorded by microphone through an interface into a computer. Often I'll just record the guitar part and the vocal part at the same time.
Okay.
And I have very low patience for the recording process in general. So the faster I can get it done, the better, in my opinion.
So are you more interested in playing in front of people? Is that what you're saying? You crave the interaction?
I think that I feel better writing stuff that I know I could perform by myself in front of people. So I sort of do keep that in mind when I am writing or recording or anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have much experience then in front of people?
I've performed around a little bit, sort of just me and my guitar. But again, COVID and stuff like that, I've busked. I've performed in three-piece band, just bits and pieces here and there, whatever I can get into at the time. I'm sort of waiting until I have a more fully formed sort of artistic vision to really go hard with the performing live.
Okay, I get it. Yeah. And how about you, Harry? What's your process?
Well, the way I record it's different every time. Because of the huge range of options I have, I can just pick whatever I feel like. So I have this thing, which is just a multi-track recorder, and this is what I use to record stuff into, and that could be any instrument, through any microphone, through any effects, through a synthesizer, through a tape machine, anything, and I just piece it together, or just kind of leave it very simple.
Yeah,
it's different all the time.
Yeah, I saw your songs. It's like on YouTube, and it's called 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Isn't it? I'm curious about the making of that in specific. Actually, like what?
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, tell me about it.
Okay. That one.
Do you feel like this is the most representable of your like works? No, that's more like an experiment type of thing.
Did you listen to it?
Yes, I did. Eventually, I was like, okay,
I'm sorry
all
about that.
A little bit similar. I might just skip to the 7 or 8.
Yeah, that one was just a highly emotional time where I got very drunk and then just distorted everything I could, so it was as violent on the ears as possible.
Okay.
Because I was very angry at a couple of people.
And then for every person you did like one of the tracks, so how did that work?
I think, well, I had an idea when I was recording it, a theme and a title and song names, but I abandoned them and then just did numbers because it was because it made no sense, really.
Okay, I get it.
That one's kind of the biggest joke in my discography.
I see.
Yeah. But yeah.
I was going to ask, how did you decide where to start and end a song? Because that could realistically be one song, right?
Well, yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I just chose at random.
Right. Okay. Interesting.
But the other stuff I've done has been the stuff where I've spent days and weeks perfecting sounds, and for the longer ones, the ones that go for an hour, I generally have a loop set up and I record it for an hour, and then I go and do other things. I go and watch TV or read or do something else while it's recording. So I'm not really playing anything. I'm just watching it do its thing.
I get it. Okay. And because John, do you have a question?
Yeah. I would like to know about what do you think about the process of creating art, and about how the symbolism affects the way that you create your music. and the way that artists create art. Because as you are talking about minimalism, yeah, what are the things that you are trying to talk about in your music, and how this experimentation can affect or like make bigger things, or make bigger implications, or more philosophical implications in the things that you're trying to talk about in your music. Yeah, because it's not just about the narrative aspect of your music, because you're working in a different way from a lot of musicians that create works of music that tells a story. As you do a kind of thing that is very strange and very immersive and very emotional, how can you be apart from the narrative, and how can you talk about things in a different way, and what are those things that you're talking about in your process of creating music?
Well, as of now, none of my music that I have released has any lyrics. It's all instrumental, so there's no message, so to speak. My most recent stuff is sort of quite meditative. It's so simple that and so long that you kind of, if you listen to it and close your eyes, you can get into a meditative state, which is something that music doesn't generally do for people. There's not much music made for that. Everything's, you know, the 3-minute pop song that makes you feel something, and this is a bit longer and a bit you need more patience to not understand it, but just kind of hear it, really. Yeah. Lachlan.
Hello. Sorry. So I don't know. I definitely have a much stronger focus on lyrics, I think. I really enjoy playing with words, and I enjoy the fact that sort of you can say a word, and so many different interpretations of that can be made. So, you know, what I'm really trying to do in a song is write something that is representative of a situation that everyone will have experienced somewhat, you know. So I could be writing about an emotional process that I've gone through, and that initial experience will be very specific to me, but then I try and broaden that and think, how can I raise the same questions in other people that maybe have been raised in me by you know, experiencing life. And so I try and do that, at least in my lyrics. In my music, I enjoy sort of, I don't know, I'm similar. I enjoy distorted sounds. I enjoy stuff that puts you on edge. And I think in a way there is that cathartic element of, I enjoy having something that sounds ferocious and sounds angry. Yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah, you did. Like, I was surprised when I listened to your song. You had like quite a like folky kind of vibe, and like the lyrics and everything. And then suddenly you threw in like some like robot voice like thing.
Oh, yeah.
And that just sort of like caught me as a listener at surprise, actually. Yeah, I thought that was actually really interesting because it gave some extra layer to the song.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot of the folk songs that I listen to do suffer from that. Like, it's you know, 2 chords, swapping between the 2, very limited changes in what the song is really doing as a in terms of structure. So whatever you can do within that format to make it interesting and different, you know, you may as well try to do something that is a little bit out there, I think.
For me, it's interesting because as you have a lot of experience in your work as a music store, I don't know, like people who work with music and who work with musicians and their work, it's like a very deconstructive process, right? Like take the music and the musical history of the world and make this process of the construction of the music to the elemental sounds of the music, and to make music from like a music that have had this process of purification, yeah, like eliminating things from I don't know, genres and artists and influences, and creating this thing that is like a crystal that made from absence and maybe silence and all of these things that are there in the music, but maybe is not considered music or things like that. For me, it's very interesting to see this process and to know this way of creating music right now, after this pandemic, after all of the things that have changed the world in the present years.
Toddy?
Sorry. So, what was the question out of that? Sorry.
No,
that was a big question. I was just saying.
Yeah,
I was muted. I just
a commentary, an appreciation of the way that you are creating your all kind of music, yeah, in your own terms, and it's interesting to see this process right now, yeah, because well, here in Latin America, we have like different emphasis, and because of the things that came to us, yeah, and the culture that we had, and the things that the music can do here, because it's so limited and so it's great to see this new way to create art there.
Yeah.
more alternative, is it? Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
He's basically asking like because I think what he's saying, in Colombia the music's a bit more traditional as such, and he's actually quite impressed by the interpretation of music, and he's asking like how you justify that it's sort of like music, or like what's your opinion on that, like to push the boundaries like that.
Yeah. Well, I okay. It's
a really big question, man. You guys were not prepared for that, I think. Sorry about that, but it's
all right.
really interesting for all of us to know for sure.
Yeah.
For example, to make like a more concrete thing about this question, as I am a philosopher, we in the university once talk about John Cage 433, and how the silence in this work has like an interpretation from the Zen Buddhism, yeah, and the thing about the meditation and the silence and the void and the absence for a work of music from the modern age that it's made out of silence. So it's like this thing, yeah, like how you like Slani said, are pushing the boundaries of what is music, and what can you interpret music, and for me it's excellent, because here we have like the commercial music, or
Yeah.
we are stuck in the rock music in Latin America, and rock music, and like it's always the same thing.
Yeah, I think
And it's great to see this new way to create music there. What are you doing? You are doing there.
yeah,
I guess it's also an underground kind of thing. So we still have like mainstream, but I would agree with the fact that we have a lot of like alternative artists, or that we bring in like an extra element. But I still think the mainstream is like quite specific. Like in South America, there's specific songs that get played over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So maybe like to rephrase the question or something is like, how do you guys then see yourself as successful musicians? Do you guys feel like it's easy to perform that type of music?
Yeah.
I think
you go.
I think I think a lot of it really comes from to get philosophical for you. It's like it's who you're making the music for, right? So you can be the creative process is like you're really trying to be in tune with whatever impulse your brain is sending out to you, you know, whatever voice it is, whatever you want to call it. You're trying to put down in physical form whatever you're imagining, whatever your brain is doing. So I think maybe the difference between that really sort of oversaturated pop music and whatever it is anyone else is doing is the fact that it is so, you know, if you're creating music and you're doing it specifically to listen to those impulses and specifically to make something that you know is true to yourself, the end result is always going to be something new and different because you are new and different, you know. There's no one else. You can't be anyone else but who you are. So whatever you spit out, if you're being really true to yourself and really listening to whatever creative impulses you have, you know, it's going to be at least a step in the right direction, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think that especially here, just Western culture in general, because of the oversaturation of just pop music and, you know, even rock music and just mainstream music, and also the just availability to it for young people. You know, a young person is introduced to music through pop music generally.
Whatever's on the radio.
Yeah, and I think that kind of has stopped generations of people from trying new things because there's a standard that they feel they have to reach. So a lot of people who are musicians around where we're from are just trying to be somebody, and they're not just, you know, exploring things that they find interesting so much. And yeah, like Lachlan said, if you're doing something that's true to yourself, there's no way it can't be unique because it's just you.
In terms of, and genres, kind of, we're at a point, I don't know, most of the genres that are well, at least the sort of traditional, what I would consider genres, have been around for what, like 160 years. You know, there's a certain limit to what you can do within a format before someone has to think, you know, screw this, I'm gonna completely, you know, maybe take cues from that, but completely try and do something else.
Anything else on that topic?
Well, I have another question.
Sure.
If I can. And my question is, do you believe that music transcends language barriers and can reconfigure a new way of understanding the world? Or at least this actual world?
Of course, music can transcend language. A lot of music is very oversimplified in its language, so that only native language speakers can understand certain music. But some of it is created in a way that you don't need to understand it, which is very rare, especially nowadays, I think.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that, I don't know, I'm someone who, likes to play with words, but I know that, I know that there definitely is something to, if as a basis, without that on top of anything, you can stir an emotion in someone, then, that's a great thing. And I think spending time and focusing on that aspect of making music is, it's almost like it's a completely different art in and of itself, to be able to manipulate sound waves like that and to stir something in someone. That's an amazing thing to me.
That's a really nice question and also nice answer. I have a question too, though. A little bit more technical again. I'm wondering if now that you guys are both working in a music shop, how does that influence the way how you make music? Because obviously you guys might have like access to really good gear and things like this. How does and also the confrontation with other musicians on a daily basis, how does that influence and inform the way how you guys make music?
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, I've been working at this place for a year and a half or so now. There's probably only two people there that musically I can, we're on the same level. A lot of people are just they're sort of interested in music, but not they don't live, breathe, and die for music like I do.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
So the place where I work isn't so much a music shop. It's a warehouse, a distributor which sends instruments to music shops. And what I do is I set up guitars. I set them up for playing. So one way that influences my music is because I'm doing it all day, every day. I don't want to play guitar when I get home. I'm sick of guitars.
So you use your clarinet, do you?
Yeah.
The clarinet you don't know how to play.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's the thing. Then you don't want to play any guitar anymore. Okay.
Yeah. Oh well,
but
I want to play guitar.
Positive? Yeah.
Well, I still want to play guitar.
Yeah.
It's just my fingers are so sore by the end of the day.
Yeah.
Having played 50 guitars per day, 5 days a week.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing. It means I never fall out of touch. Practice wise, my fingers stay hard. They stay coordinated. But yeah, it doesn't hinder me too much in that sense.
Okay. Does it maybe even inspire you, or is it?
Well, I generally, as soon as I start working, early in the morning, I get all these ideas of stuff that I could do when I get home, and then by the time I get home, I'm too tired to do anything with them, which is frustrating. But I can't do anything about that.
Yeah, I think we all know that actually. Yeah. And how about you, Braino?
I work sort of more on the storefront end of stuff, side of things. So actually selling instruments and stuff to musicians.
Yeah.
It can be tricky. It's good in that it really does build your knowledge up of what is out there and what is accessible as a tool to make music.
Yeah.
It's good in that way. But again, that doesn't make it, it's still a very, very expensive hobby. So it doesn't necessarily, you know, all the stuff's there and it's great. You know, I get to practice on drum kits and stuff like that I wouldn't otherwise have access to. But unfortunately, you can't take it home with you at the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's something else. Because of all the different products that we stock at our place, and the staff discount that I have, I've been able to buy a lot of things that I never would have had the money to buy if I wasn't getting a discount on them.
Oh, that sounds good.
So
good to have you as a friend as well, no?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You would benefit from that as well, Braino, do you? Yeah.
We can benefit from each other's shops.
Yeah, exactly. And that's
that's nice.
We've got a nice.
Was that a coincidence that you both started to work in music shops yourself? Like because you went together to school, and was that a coincidence that you
more of a coincidence, I think. We just happened to sort of stumble across. Well, it's obviously when you're very interested in music, as day jobs go, it's a lot easier to rationalize getting up and going and being surrounded by music rather than, you know, going and, I don't know, being a checkout chick at Coles or something like that.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly. There's not much else I'd do for a job if it wasn't involved with music.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay. So what's the aim then? Do you guys have an aim? Like, do you want to become producers, or do you want to become successful like musicians that have like live performances like on a daily basis?
No, not at all.
No.
No, I'm extremely happy just working a job that can keep me alive and pretty well off and make music on the side. Just enough time to create some stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I think, I don't know, it would be really nice to get to a point where it could be your main focus, you know,
of course.
If it's bringing in enough, you know, enough cash that you can really devote that and really make that, you know, what you're doing in every single moment, I think that would be a wonderful thing. But unfortunately, with the way the music industry is sometimes, it's just slightly trickier than that. And you also have to think about the fact that you don't want that situation again to change the art that you end up making.
Yeah. That's something I believe in, that if I was ever making music for the purpose of making money, I wouldn't be happy with the music I was making.
Yeah.
Oh, you think so?
No,
okay.
I think because the kind of stuff that I enjoy making is almost like the opposite of what makes money. And the less likely it is to make money, the more fun I have making it.
Okay, I get it.
So if I ended up somehow making money from it, I'd probably despise it, and then just do something completely different.
Yeah.
Okay.
So as to leave my art kind of untouched by money, really.
Would you be disappointed or upset if just by no effort of your own it got picked up and did see financial success?
Well, I just no, of course not. That's what
you probably would change what you're doing.
Yes, of course. I'd start
is
off
that
in a
really
different direction.
changing it due to the success, or is this just like natural growth?
Well,
a bit of both. Both, yeah.
Because I think like every artist, musicians, everyone, they take a lot of inspiration from the people that they're making music for too. Like if you have a concert and you play in front of a crowd, or if you're like a actor or I don't know, a painter or something, and you have someone watching, in a way it really influences as well the way how you perform or how you Just even
Yeah.
how you move or the thoughts that you have while you actually like on stage, no?
Yeah,
How's
or for some people, I think.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think you can probably train yourself out of that if you really wanted to. Like
Mm.
it's I don't know. I've been focusing a lot on not being influenced like as I was saying about the doing something that's true to yourself. Part of that I think is being able to really accept that other people, you know, aren't going to help you achieve that necessarily, and that you do have to somewhat be able to detach from that a little bit. But yeah,
I get it. Yeah, you
Yeah.
agree?
Yeah, I think that the less influence you have from what other people will enjoy, that the more true to yourself your work will be.
Mm.
That's not to say that making stuff for people isn't also worthwhile.
no, of course.
But,
Yeah, the commissions are quite sweet always.
yeah.
So what was your best achievement, like where you felt like that was pretty cool? Like, was it either the creation of one of your works or maybe just like a performance you guys had with like a crowd where you were totally vibing, like where you like, oh man, it's really like going, really liking it.
Yeah, so something that I was pretty proud of when I put out an album recently that was kind of my first very well, it's the first ambient one that I really worked on. I spent a lot of time doing.
Yeah.
So I was quite happy with it by the time it came out, and I showed it to my mum, and
Yeah.
my mum loved it and showed all her friends, and for the first time I wasn't embarrassed by her sharing me with her friends, because you know, it's funny, my music seems to have a target audience of 40 to 50-year-old women.
What? No.
Well, at the moment it does. Young people don't have time to listen to that kind of music, I think. So I was quite happy that I found an audience that actually genuinely enjoyed it.
That's so nice. That's really funny though.
Yeah.
A target audience, but that was more by accident rather than on purpose, was it though? Did you?
No, yeah. I wasn't making music for them, but it is for them now.
Yeah. It is theirs. I don't know. Mine would probably be just the first, you know, because I think it's very easy to be a perfectionist when it comes to music and to spend a lot of time working on stuff and doing the classic, you know, the classic thing of getting, you know, to maybe 90% done and just going, this is crap, I'll scrap it.
Yeah.
And so I think the first time of getting to that, you know, somewhat finished mark and looking back on it and thinking, well, you know, there's something in this that I value. I think that realization was probably one of those moments for me. And the, you know, waking up and having a song, you know, like you don't even, sometimes you have to sit down and it's a really forced thing, and that's not a happy, you know, it's not an enjoyable experience to begin with. But then, you know, you sort of form those, I don't know, I guess you're forming neural pathways or doing whatever it is, and it just starts coming naturally. And I think that was also a really pleasant realization to have, is that, hey, I'm actually, you know, I am doing this and I'm completely invested in this right now. And it's a joyful experience to be doing it.
Yeah. That's nice. Yeah. For me, I also like, sometimes I have like flows and it just happens. Like I make a song within 2 hours and then I can already upload it. I'm like, I just want to get this out now, and I just want people to see how they react to it. Like the song I showed you guys before happened like this, actually. Like I just had a moment and then I recorded the sounds of the rain and the rest just happened. I didn't even overthink it anymore if it's good or bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then sometimes the more I listen to a song, the less I start to like it. Do you guys have that sometimes as well?
A
Well,
little bit.
with with some people, with some people's music, yeah.
Oh yeah, with your own?
Well, because okay, well, so with what I have out on streaming platforms already, I think
Yeah.
there's something like 10 albums,
Oh yeah.
and the first like 5 or 6 they're just the live recordings of me playing around with effect pedals and guitars and stuff, and with most of those I recorded them and then just uploaded them, and I didn't listen to them. So that I can go back and listen to them, and things are new when I listen to it every time.
Ah, okay.
And a similar thing with the newer stuff that I've put out, which is it's quite interesting. It's music that's created by a system, and all I do is set up the system.
Okay.
So it's a few different loops that go out of time with each other, and for an hour or so. So I record the loops, and I'm not even in the room when they're recording, and then I can go back and listen to it. And I've never heard it before. It's new to me as well,
Okay.
which is
But-
cool.
Yeah, that's interesting. But do you feel like you're more of a musician or more like a sound artist by the sounds of it?
Probably sound artist, yes.
Yeah, okay. That's really cool. Yeah.
But that's not to say I do other stuff as well. You know, I play guitar, I sing,
Yeah.
I play rock music. I try and write songs. I just haven't. I'm just not happy with what I've done recorded of that so far.
Ah, that's interesting. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you guys have like Braino, I also want to ask you the same question actually. Like do you have a moment where you're like, oh shit, damn it, what the heck did I do here? I don't like it anymore. I thought it's such a good song, but now it's
a little bit, particularly because I don't know, I don't a lot of my stuff is really unpolished, you know. It's there's not a whole lot of time invested in production value as such. So sometimes it is very easy to, particularly when you're studying music and you're around people who, you know, really do find that, you know, I don't think that that's intrinsically an important part of music to me. But when you're surrounded with people who do think that, you know, half of music is spent in the studio polishing every single track until it, you know, sounds, you know, perfect digitally and all of that sort of stuff. It is easy to then look back on your own work and think, oh, well, you know, maybe I did take a wrong step here or there. But at the end of the day, I think it's like, well, it's a necessary thing for me to have done in a way.
And also I feel like there's actually heaps of musicians who feel that way as well at some point. And then they actually remake their songs into like different, like, or when they always when musicians work together with DJs, something like that, and they do like a remix of their song. It's a bit like that too, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think so. It's just it's a different, each part of music production is such a huge, you know, undertaking to really master. I think at some point you have to choose either. Well, I don't know. Maybe that's just me. You know, maybe there is someone out there who can find a way to get really good at doing both. But for me, I think my strength is in the sort of earlier part of song production rather than the finishing.
Okay, that's all right. No, that's okay. I think there's lots of different artists, and at the end of the day, also the way how you collaborate like makes your song too. Like at some point, even if you are good at everything, you can't actually do everything because you just have a limited amount of hours per day, and it just doesn't work. So what's your opinion on collaborations? Did you guys make much music with other people, or would you guys describe yourself more of solo artists?
I've tried to make music with people.
Yeah.
There's not many that I can.
Okay.
You know, me and Braino have tried things before.
Yeah.
Whether
Oh yeah,
it's
how does that work? I'm so curious.
well, like there was just recently, because I went to see Braino play live when he was playing at a little bar.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
And
nice. Yeah.
straight off, while I was watching it, I was thinking, oh, I could play a lead guitar over this, and it'd add something to it.
Yeah.
And we went and we tried to practice for that, and it hasn't quite worked out just yet.
Yeah.
But it could work out.
It definitely could.
Yeah.
I think it's especially it's hard when it is your creative like your child, so to speak, to be able to communicate. That's another thing I think that is really important with being a musician or creating stuff, is you have to be able, if you want to collaborate, you have to be able to really communicate without judgment. And I think that's a really tricky thing for anyone to do, But I think collaboration is really important, because if you're collaborating with people who are just as invested in making something, well, for lack of a better word, something good, then combining people with that same sort of intention, I think it can only get better, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I find for me personally, just around Sydney, at least where I've looked in Sydney, there aren't even many people, let alone musicians, who are on the same kind of personal level of expression artistically as myself, because to share, like Braino said, your baby, your music, your creative life with someone, it's very personal, and I haven't had a personal relationship with someone who is a musician that has gone deep enough to really share everything.
Okay.
People only seem to kind of scratch the surface these days, and I'm sure there are people out there who are perfect, but perfect to collaborate with for certain other people, but just got to be patient, I think. Keep looking.
Are we still talking about music?
Well, people make music.
Cool.
So
I agree with you, but that's why it's nice to just do your thing, and I think along the way probably people will also notice, and then they will just join in. And I think always it's so, like, also when I heard that you guys sometimes do music together, I was actually quite surprised, especially after listening to your type of music. Like each of your music is very different, and I was very curious if you guys like manage to combine those type of like different styles with each other. Even
that would be a very tricky puzzle.
That's what I was thinking first. That would be actually pretty cool.
There was a thing that I have released that we recorded together, but it's not. It's kind of just.
Oh yeah.
There's a we have a.
It's in the making, is it?
No. It's finished. It's out.
Oh yeah. Okay.
It's not very good.
No.
It was just a bit of fun that we had, that we decided to put out. Yeah. It's
that's cool.
I don't think it has had anything to do with our actual music.
No, it's definitely there's always room for play as well, because that's how you get new stuff. So that was probably an example of that, rather than having a vision and trying to act it out.
All right, that's pretty cool. So where are you guys going now from here? I think I asked a little bit, where do you guys see each other, but where are you going? What's your next steps in the near future?
Well, I've got big plans.
Yeah.
So the company that I use, a distributor to put out music,
Yeah.
which I pay for yearly to put
Yeah.
out everything I put out on all streaming platforms. There's an option to upgrade the package that I pay for to manage 5 artists rather than just one, rather than just my account. And
Yeah.
I've gathered a bunch of five friends who make their own individual music, and I'm gonna get that going, and we're all working on an album each that we're gonna release all at the same time.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
With stuff like my music, which is ambient music. My friend who does like very complex avant-garde jazz. It's pretty interesting. It's very, very complex. My brother makes just similar sort of stuff to me, create just weird sound experiments. So five very different kind of musical styles all put together on one label. And once we've all put out our initial album release, then it's just whatever you want to put out, you can put out.
Nice.
Um,
We have John back with us. That's awesome. Cool.
Yeah, sorry for the absence. Hey, I want to know, what do you know about music here from Latin America? What are your knowledge about our local musicians, and what do you think about it?
Okay, well, I don't know much about what's going on now in the music scene there. I listen to all sorts of, in my spare time, I listen to all sorts of music from all over the world. So there's a lot of Brazilian and other Latin American countries, the jazz and bossa nova kind of music that I enjoy listening to. I don't know any names. I don't even know how to pronounce any of them either. But there's a lot of stuff from Latin America that I like, not modern stuff, but just because I don't know any really. But yeah.
I also know very little. I think I'd be very interested to know more about particularly what what the trajectory is in terms of music over there, because here it seems to be quite like it's picking up. I think most of the young people I know are at least semi interested in music or trying to start their own band, or doing. I think there's a bit of a boom waiting to happen over here, maybe. But yeah, I'd be interested to hear.
Do you actually make music too, John? Because you're interviewing a lot of musicians, but do you sometimes make music too?
I like music, but I don't. I would like to, but I don't. I don't know. Like, I don't have the talent to make
Everyone
music.
does.
But you're
I write, and I have one or two friends of mine that are musicians that have created songs from my poems.
Yeah.
But I've never tried, really.
Oh,
Well, there's always time to try.
Yeah, I know. But I like music a lot. I really love music, and with Alterbox Media, I have had the experience of being in a lot of concerts and festivals here in Bucaramanga, in Colombia, and that.
Right. I was just going to ask John if there was a place where your poetry was accessible at all.
Yeah, well, I'm going to publish a little book of poems. It's a plaquette. It's like a selection of 9 or 10 poems. And this one book, it's bilingual. So I be publishing it in my page. and I'll be sending and selling copies here in Bucaramanga, where I live.
Oh, cool,
Yeah,
cool.
I'm gonna send you a book. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's in Spanish though. Can you speak Spanish, Braino?
I can try and learn very quickly, but I'm not sure.
Actually, that bilingual edition started with Slani and the interview that she made to me, and I started translating the poems, and now I have this little book that I'm gonna send her to.
Oh, thanks. That's so cool. Yeah, do you take some inspiration for your poems from music sometimes, or is it just more from within you?
I have once I made a presentation, and I have the opportunity to read my poems,
Yeah.
and to have some friends from the Philharmonic Orchestra
Oh,
making music as I was reading the poems,
cool.
and those songs that my friends create from my poems. But just that I take my my inspiration from movies and
Ah,
and cinema, because
Hmm.
I am very graphic,
yeah.
and the way I write is very graphic too. So I take from that. But I like music. I just listen to music every day, and like a lot of genres and things, and maybe like strange things, and yeah. So
Mm.
I love it.
Yeah. There's an interview with John as well that we made a while ago, actually. So if you guys are interested in his work, I can also link that.
Cool.
You can have a look at it afterwards.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, do you guys have any questions for us, actually?
Oh, so many.
Oh, super, shoot away.
There's always questions for everybody.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything really.
Can we ask you the same question you finished on with us? Where do you see yourself? What are you trying to achieve within the next, however long?
Me?
Well, to everyone in the room.
Okay. Well, for me, I am actually more of a visual artist.
Mhm.
So I studied fine arts. I'm still doing it, actually. I'm finishing my degree now, finally. And I worked for a few photographers as an assistant, but I always made music alongside, and I also actually was busking in Sydney,
Yeah.
just like as a challenge,
Yeah.
like street music. Yeah. And then I think I always had this conflict which type of art I like more, like music or more like visual. But now towards like the end of my degree, I realized that I'm actually maybe even able to combine those two types
definitely.
of things.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm working a lot with sound these days as well.
Yeah.
And the song with the rain was actually also a bit of an experiment. But yeah, where do I see myself in maybe the next 5 years? Optimistically, out of COVID, please,
Hopefully.
and
Yeah.
rich somewhere in a really nice, warm place. So Sydney, probably. And yeah, we'll see what the future brings. I think at the moment, no one can really estimate what's gonna happen.
That's very true.
Yeah. How about you, John?
Well, last year I created a press house to publishing to publish my work,
Mhm.
and I wrote some. I like to write little books. Yeah, like small compilations of poems that are called plaquettes. Yeah, like yeah, very very little, like 40, 50 pages. And I wrote like 3 of them, and I'll be publishing them this year. And the first one is this one. It's called Poems to Deal with Oneself at Dawn, and have like 9 poems that I wrote at dawn. Yeah, uh, before the morning.
Yeah.
And poems that talk about being alone and death and our dreams and our fears. And there's another one called Opus Diabolicum and the Gospel of the Witches, and it's a little book. I'm going to publish it like a little book in leather, yeah, covered in leather, and
Nice.
it has like 2 books in it. The first one is there are 7 poems that talk about politics, but related to the devil. Yeah, like politics are the devil.
Yeah.
And the other one have like 9 or 8 poems that talk about my vision of the devil and the witches, and it's like maybe a little pagan, yeah. But this one tries to do a reconfiguration of what we think about it, yeah. Like
Right.
is the devil the good one because he's the one who cares for the people, and the witches do their work, yeah. And this little plaquette connects to my book of tales. I have an anthology of tales that I'm going to publish it this year too, if I can. And also I have this little book that it's called The Aphorisms, that have like 40 aphorisms, like little poems, little I don't know, like phrases and reflections. And I'm going to publish it like a deck of cards. And you can have this card, and for the other side you have an illustration. So I'm going to be playing with those concepts, and also publishing other writers in my press house. It's called Satire Press House.
Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good plan. Yeah. You're already doing it. That's awesome. Yeah. That's great.
That's because I can take advantage of the lockdown. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because here I can design and I can write, and
Yeah.
I don't have very much complications in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the lockdowns are perfect for artists.
Yeah.
Yeah, in some ways.
Done.
Yeah.
For the creational part, for sure, but the
Yeah.
interaction with people is really missing. I think personally, like, it's such a shame when it comes to like painting or photography or those visual arts. You benefit so much from showing it to your peers in person, and the materiality of the work is so important. So I'm not a big fan of the whole online thing, to be honest.
Right.
But yeah, it
I
has
will-
advantages.
Sorry, I to interrupt you. I
Yeah.
was thinking that I would like maybe to create. I like to do things with a lot of people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I like to integrate art every time I can. So
Yeah.
what I was thinking that maybe if you want to, we can talk to create video poems using your music. Yeah, and the work of videographers. Yeah, here or there, and I have some examples that I have worked. But as Slani is a great photographer, yeah, because I have seen their work. her work, and I really like your music. Maybe we can do something.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's talk. Let's stay in touch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So I think the time is maybe ready for the audience as well to listen to your music.
Hmm.
So
Sure.
I have a question for you guys. Would you prefer to perform it in person, or do you want me to play the audio files that you sent me?
Well, I think it'll be a bit hard for me to perform mine.
Yeah.
I have to set up 4 or 5 tape loops.
I'd have to be a one-man band, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you prefer
better,
me to play the,
yeah, better if you
or
play it.
if you want to set up, we can also. Up
Not
to
that
you.
it'd take too long.
All right, no worries. So I'll just play Harry's song first, actually, for
You
you guys.
don't have to play the whole thing because it is half an hour.
Is it? So what's
Yeah.
the most interesting part?
Well, the whole thing, but
I had it 10 times speed.
Play 10 times speed. Oh,
no. I mean, you could play just however long you want. A
should I
minute,
start
5
from
minutes.
the beginning, or do you want me to start from the middle somewhere?
You can start from the beginning. It's very quiet. It fades in.
Okay. And do you want to tell us something about this song before we play it, or maybe afterwards?
I can say it now.
Yeah.
It's so there's an idea that the musician Brian Eno came up with called generative music, which is music that is created by system.
Yeah.
And the system that I have used is this one has four tape loops, four different loops of sound that repeat over and over.
Yeah.
And the loops are different lengths, so they repeat at different times compared to the other ones.
Yeah.
So that when you start them all at once, they change how they interact with each other throughout. So there's one loop that has one note and it changes every 10 seconds, and another
Okay.
one that has another different note, but it changes every 12 seconds, so on.
Okay.
So it constantly changes and generates its own musical patterns.
Cool. Okay, let's have a listen to this.
Okay. Do you mind if I just go to the toilet quickly?
Yeah. Go for it.
Okay, I'll be back.
Okay, there we go, guys. Here is Harry's music. Is this happening? It's really fading in.
Mhm.
So we are at 14 minute 14 now.
Okay.
I'm like skipping a little bit
Yeah.
sometimes.
It's the same pretty much throughout, except
Also,
for
very meditational.
yeah.
That's so unexpected. I love it. Yeah. What kind of instruments did you use to make this?
This thing. It's a synthesizer.
Ah, that one. Okay.
Because it has a looping system, and I recorded it through a tape machine, a reel-to-reel tape recorder. Yeah.
That's really cool. I like it a lot.
Yeah, you get the kind of general idea of it just by listening to a bit, but it doesn't change much. It's very subtle.
It's nice. Like, that's the type of music you need during a pandemic, I think.
Well, it just puts you to sleep.
Yeah. After a long day of doing nothing, just have like a little relaxation. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well done. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. And then let's have a little listen as well to Braino's music, which is rather different from what we just heard. Do you want to maybe tell us a little bit about your music beforehand or rather after?
This specific song or the music in general?
The specific song, yeah.
Okay. This was recorded right here in my bedroom. I'm basically playing the electric guitar and singing at the same time, and then you'll hear there's like overdubbed vocal tracks and a bass guitar part, and I use MIDI keys to add in some distorted-y sounding keys solos, I think, at some point. But yeah, that's what you're about to hear.
That's awesome. Let's have a listen.
When you walk outside and the breeze won't you do, and there are crows in your bed and stones in your shoe. When the trash man comes and connects over you, is it okay now? Is it okay? If your toes are wet and your cowlick's still wet, and you'd rather be human than somebody's pet, if you're trying your hardest not to get so upset, it's okay now. Is it okay? If in your formative childhood your mother was sick and your dad's constant drinking made him father of bricks, and you don't know where to go and your strength seems to stink, is it okay then? Is it okay? and dried over the coast. When all your bonds have been taken, the queen's lost control. Is it okay then? Is it okay? You're out of the town and your vision's a bed. All the homeless men in Railway Square come chasing after your long blonde hair. Is it okay then? Is it okay? When you're riding the highway in your car all alone, and you're sure it's the weekend when you pass the school zone, and your daughter calls from London, so you answer the phone. Is it okay then? Is it okay? Looking too long you've rambled and your mind's on the shambles. From the suffering of others to your own, hold no candle when you want to lift others up, but you can't find the handle. Is it okay? The start of your day feels weeks away, and when asked how you're going, you're not sure what to say. When you've seen someone's eyes turn right to the grave, is it okay? Is it okay? If for your whole life you've been well behaved, and the world's better off for the people you saved, if you can't say I'm alright, wait till your grave. Is it okay then? Is it okay then?
Cool.
Thank you.
Good on you. Yes. So, any comments on the process of making ideas, subjects?
Well, I don't know. It's basically just it's very much like it's in that sort of like what I was saying before. It's that folk sort of the music. Listening back on it now seems like it's a long song. You know, a lot of it is there to assist the images that I'm trying to make with the actual words. So yeah, it's basically just a series of images or scenarios, and then yeah, that's basically it.
It's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not based on a true story, is it? Or is
Not a true story, no. It's about, you know, if I had to sum it up, it'd be about you know, finding at the end of the day, if you can live with yourself, you know, that's the sort of thing, is living in a way that you can be at peace somewhat.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Nice. That's pretty nice.
Mm.
I think, yeah, maybe at the end of the interview, we can still, after all, try to combine your songs together. Actually, we want to try that. And to see how it looks. Do you have a question, John, just before we...
I just want to say that, well, for me as a writer, I used to write poetry, but also I write narrative.
Mhm.
And that's what I was asking you about, the narrative things in
Mhm.
your music.
Mhm.
And I understand now the difference between like the kind of things that you both are trying to do, because for Braino it's like a more story that develops, yeah, with the
Mm.
music, and creates a lot of images and scenes. And for Harry it's like the most emotional thing, yeah, the kind of thing that impacts you in the stomach, or seduce you, like I don't know. I used to think always in water, yeah,
Mhm.
like the water sound and the mystic of the music, and I really can um, see myself in the music that you both are trying to create, because I have these two ways that I can go, yeah, and I can identify with the things that you're making now, and well, and that's great.
It's pretty cool, I think. So
Thank
it's
you.
like, yeah, good on you guys. And
Thanks.
it's so awesome. Like the type of music you're doing is so different, and after all, you guys are still like hanging out and like sometimes making music together and stuff. That's pretty cool. Like,
Yeah.
hey, let's maybe try to combine those songs now, because I was thinking as I was playing it, how that would actually work somehow as well. Let me just try to do that. All right.
Outside, there's more to do. There are crows in your bed and stones in your shoe. When the trash man comes next over you, is it okay then? If your toes are wet and you ground next to it, and you'd rather be human than somebody's man.
That actually works. That's like a lo-fi sort of vibe now.
It's your fault in childhood, your mother would say, and your dad nothing to do, father raised, and you don't know where to go. Strength seems to stay, it's
Yeah. You can just hear my stuff there off in the background.
That's like a it's like a lo-fi sort of vibe. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Thanks so much for your time.
Thanks for
Uh,
having us.
I would
Yeah.
love to have you guys again back another time, actually.
Yeah, for sure.
And I will let you guys know. I will message you. And
Cool.
yeah, thanks so much for letting us know about you and your music. Thanks, John, for interviewing alongside me and for always supporting those type of interviews.
And of
And
course, you have all the the doors open at Alterbox Media to talk a little more about your music.
Awesome.
Cool.
Cool. Okay, thanks, guys. Then have a good day. If you wanna swap details afterwards,
Yeah.
but I will just say bye to the viewers, and then we'll we'll talk. Okay.
Cool.
Bye, guys.
Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.